heart of the night, the stars guide sailors, torches ignite. In hands of jailers, wolves reunite for a bit of blood. The captain, our boss, would tell tall tales of albatross and great white whales and bones that cross and a holy flood. And the shipmates all we curse and we cheer as we beat our fists and drown in our beer. We awake by the first light of day, turn our pay, sail away. One night on the boat, we caught our captain turning his coat on us, so we sapped him, opened his throat. Red ran the flood. In the heart of the night, the stars guide sailors, torches ignite. In hands of jailers, wolves reunite for a bit of blood. And the shipmates all we curse and we cheer as we beat our fists and drown in our beer. We awake by the first light of day, turn our pay, sail away.
Sing, Talk, Play live sessions at CJSW. This time we're hanging out with Spencer Joe. What up, Joe?
Hiya, Raman.
You put your guitar through a beating. Did that belong to someone you didn't like? Why do you treat your guitar so roughly, man?
Well, I started playing music as a punk rocker, just trashing everything on stage. And I've still, when I found folk music, sort of tried to get away from that, but got away from it too late, and my guitar was a victim. Past guitars have been victims of that as well. I don't break strings so much anymore, so I probably am not as bad. Well, acoustic guitars, I've managed to only have two working guitars. You should see the first one. It's the face started coming off, so I got it all painted up in painter's tape, but I left it for like a week and it didn't come off, but I had all these stickers on it before. It's just like, it's a wreck. But yeah, two acoustic guitars, and then somehow, maybe it's the lacquer, I tend not to be as abusive with my electric guitars.
Right. Yeah, and I imagine you don't need to be, being that it's plugged in and amplification is at your fingertips.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a different style of play. I'll play a couple notes, a couple strings at a time on electric guitar, or I'll just, what I try to do with the acoustic guitar is just have kind of a brute rhythm to go with the vocal.
Oh, it's great. It works really well. The energy of even just the way you play really suits the songs. It's evident that you come from a punk background and you've infused your folk stylings with that energy, and it's really, really interesting to watch, really interesting to see. When writing your music, how often does the punk sensibility find its way into your pieces?
I think at one point when I was going and making the change from punk to folk. I kind of tried to avoid it, but it wasn't successful at all. So it's always in there, and actually it's like what you light your cigarette with, sort of in that vein, you know.
Well put.
I think the reason it blended so well is that the two styles of punk and folk are much more similar than most people would give them credit for. It's 3 chords and the truth, essentially. You know, I know my minors and majors, and that's it, and some 7s. Those are basic chords. And so when I started really listening to folk music, I could pick that out instantly, and it was music that I could play because I already knew those 3 chords. It also tends to be a little more topical, punk rock and folk music, you know, whereas like a lot of what comes out as pop music is love songs, which is great. I love love. It's a wonderful thing, but folk music and punk usually are about something else, more or less, than love. Well, the first song I wrote as sort of just like a mutineer's ballad was, you know, I try to always have a bit of social undertones. I didn't want to, you know, say kill the president or anything like that, but there's a bit of that sentiment in there. It's just basically about this scurvy crew getting sick of their captains.
It seems like a lot of people we talk to, their music tends to be reminders for themselves, or in many aspects, therapy for their own lives. Do you find that? Is it a soothing thing for you to get these lyrics out?
When I found music, it was essential to my survival, my emotional survival, perhaps physical. You know, I didn't really have a lot of friends growing up, and I didn't, you know, the jocks didn't like me, and the gangsters didn't like me, and you know, so I was always kind of, I struggled a little bit as an adolescent. But I found the music, and it guided me, and it helped me express myself where I couldn't really otherwise.
And what do you have going on outside of your solo identity, and what do we have to look forward to?
Well, I've sort of slowed up a little bit on the solo shows, kind of focusing right now on our 5-piece kind of punk folk band called Riverjacks. We're in the studio at the end of spring, and hopefully shortly thereafter we'll be releasing a full-length album.
Awesome. We'll be waiting for it.
I'm excited. I'm stoked. Yeah.
I noticed that your guitar has the same tattoo that you do. Does that signify anything?
Well, the guitar got it first.
Okay.
My sister made a stencil for me, which I put on my guitar, which is nice. And then my buddy Tommy Gunn did the old stick and poke. And it's the mark of Gandalf the Grey.
That's great. I love it.
Letters Between Brothers is it's a song about growing up and not screwing around too much anymore, you know, like kind of taking more responsibility, and it's kind of like it's a mantra I try to sing myself so that I'm not placing myself in weird places that I might have as a 18-year-old kid, right? So.
Little brother, I read your letter a couple times over coffee. Sorry about the cops, I don't wanna bust your chops, but it sounds like you had it coming. That's not to say that I believe in fate or fairness in this world. Don't think twice, brother, take my advice, is all I'm saying. Clean up your act, it ain't no fair Lace them boots and cut that hair. Don't look back, you're not alone. It's time to cool your bones. Hey brother, I got your letter. Try being nice sometimes. Your 2 cents don't represent the change you said was coming. I heard about the fight that I'm sure you thought was right. That says you're busted up. Don't look back, brother, take another crack is all I'm saying. Clean up your act, it ain't no fair. Lace them boots and cut that hair. Don't look back, you're not alone. It's time to cool